Hey guys, so now that E3 and Gamescom have passed, we have a lot of incredible trailers and gameplay footage of games that are coming out next year. Games that I'm really excited about playing, and someone requested that I make a video explaining some of the games that I will be purchasing next year. I pay a great deal of attention to the games that I buy, the new games that I buy, because I live on a very tight budget. I usually play older games, or I wait a while until games have been out for a considerable amount of time so the price drops. But the games that I purchase that are actually new, I pay a great deal of time researching, reading reviews, watching the gameplay footage, and making up my mind whether or not I decide that it is worth purchasing new, whether it's worth playing as soon as possible. So these are 5 games that I am very sure are going to be worth buying and worth playing as soon as they are released, and I am really excited about their release. Number 5 on my list is Watch Dogs. It takes place in Chicago, and Chicago is run by this system that completely controls all the technology. It controls the cell phones, it controls the subways, it controls the traffic lights, and the main character, Aiden Pierce, he has the ability to hack into this system that controls this city and use it to his advantage. Now, from what I've seen of the E3 trailer and gameplay footage, it looks extremely promising. The graphics look just top of the notch. They look very detailed. There is footage that you can see in the E3 trailer where Aiden Pierce is walking through the streets of Chicago, and the sound quality is incredible. You hear the cars braking, you hear air steaming through the vents, you hear chatter on the streets, and it just sounds like any big city that I've walked through. It just seems very believable. And from what I've seen of the facial animation, it also looks really impressive. There's just a lot of attention to detail that went into the presentation of this game, and I was really impressed with that. The gameplay also looks really promising. Aiden Pierce is able to, as I said, hack into this city, and it showed footage of him reading people's bios, like reading facts about them as he walked through the streets. He could see facts about people pop above their heads. You see, it'll say their name, their date of birth, and traffic ticket or HIV positive. Like, you can see the bio on any non-playable character in this game, so you can find information on the characters. You can tap into cell phone conversations. You can tap into the traffic lights and cause accidents. It's incredible, and it's very open world. The gameplay also the combat also looks promising. There was it showed different ways of handling situations. Like, you can handle it stealthily. There's different weapons in the game. There's ways to take down enemies, and it looked as though there was a Max Payne-esque slow-mo shoot down that took place during the trailer. So hopefully the gameplay will also be promising, but I know just from what I've seen that it's obvious they paid a great deal of attention into this game, into putting detail, into just giving a great product. So I really want to play and just find out more about the story and find out more about the gameplay. Number 4 on my list is Tomb Raider. Now, this I have been looking forward to since first rumors of the reboot. This is Crystal Dynamics' reboot of the franchise, and I have played some of the early Tomb Raider games, namely Tomb Raider 2 and 3. So I am pretty excited about what they're going to do with this. Now, I know there's a considerable amount of controversy about them creating a new Tomb Raider and her Lara Croft being so vulnerable, but I'm honestly kind of excited about the way that they're going to show her genesis. Now, this is going to take place when Lara Croft is 21 years old and hasn't really seen just some of the things that she sees in Lara. She hasn't killed a single person. She hasn't had to face the challenges of survival, and you have to basically walk her through that. And there's just a stress on realism in this game. It looks incredibly painful and incredibly emotional. And you see Laura, she has a spike going through her stomach. She falls, and just the emotion of the voice actor as she's screaming, and she has to learn how to survive, how to build a fire, how to eat in order to keep living in this game. And it just looks really painful and really emotional. And the gameplay looks like it has some diversity as well. I've seen Lara Croft, she's using her bow and arrow to take down enemies, as well as hand-to-hand combat. And there's a similar kind of Uncharted section in which she is crawling up these different areas, so that will also be interesting. But mostly I'm just really intrigued by the realism of it and the story. If they do this right, they will hopefully show Laura in a very vulnerable position at the beginning and take her through a transition so that she closely resembles the Laura that we all know and love at the end of the game. And so that's what I'm hoping for. Number 3 on the list is The Last of Us. Now, I have just been really excited about this since rumors of it. There was something released online not too long ago, maybe it was about a year ago, but about this apocalyptic universe. It is a post-apocalyptic survival-esque story in which you play as Joel, and his friend Ellie is with them. And it looks like there's a lot of promise in the storyline as well as the gameplay. Joel is he's a very hardened individual from what I can perceive about what I've read and what I've seen. It represents the tougher aspect of this survival, this remaining society that was taken down by this plague that makes humans almost zombie-like and violent. So the survivals, those who have survived, many have become violent, have this criminal lifestyle that Joel represents. And he finds himself having to protect Ellie, who is this, I believe, 12-year-old girl. She seems more older. She seems more like she's 15 or 16, but she represents the innocence of the time, and just she has no knowledge of the way the world was before this virus. And it seems, excuse that, I'm not sure if you can hear those sirens, but Joel and Ellie, they seem as though they have a ton of chemistry, and they play off each other very well. I'm very excited about these characters. Joel, I believe that when you have these two dichotomous characters like this and put them in the same space and force them to share the same space, I believe it will really bring out the opposing qualities in both and complement each other. I believe that Ellie will kind of bring out the good aspects of Joel and really mature him and bring out the morality in Joel and soften him. And I believe that Joel will mature Ellie and hardened her in a good way. And so I just, from what I've heard of when the developers talk about this game, they are just so passionate. And it's by Naughty Dog. I don't know why I didn't say that first. It's by Naughty Dog, the creators of Uncharted, and I love the Uncharted series so much. I mean, Naughty Dog, when they create a game, they go big or go home, basically. The plane scene in Uncharted 3 is a big proof of that. That gameplay was just incredible, as you are fighting in a plane that's literally crashing, and oh gosh, that was just one of the best examples of gameplay in this generation, really. But excuse me, The Last of Us, the developers have really discussed how they really want to have important, meaningful storyline and emotional storyline, as well as fantastic gameplay. And the gameplay looks really interesting too. Ellie, fortunately, you're not just babysitting Ellie. Like, she'll hide for a little bit and even come help you in combat, so that's good. Because if this was just babysitting, then that would get a little frustrating. So Ellie will help in combat, and there's a lot of ways that you can approach combat. It's said that you don't want to completely approach your enemies in a head-on way. There is many ways that you can approach it, whether it's creating bombs. You can create bombs, you can sneak up on guys in different ways, and it looks as though there's different ways to approach situations, so that's good. They also claim that the AI is very intelligent. Now, I'm very hesitant to agree with them on this because I have yet, and you can feel free to disagree with me, but I have yet to see a convincingly good AI. I have not yet seen an AI that really impressed me, even in games that really needed to relied on fantastic AI. I've seen some convincing AIs, but I haven't seen one that really stopped me in my tracks and made me think, oh, that is so realistic. It's a challenge that game companies really need to overcome, but I haven't really seen them overcome it yet. Maybe Naughty Dog will take a step towards solving this issue, but they claim that the reason why the AI seems intelligent is because the enemies react in different ways, more than in say Mass Effect and Deus Ex. All of the enemies really react in the same way when you start shooting at them, and they'll say a lot of the same phrases, but they claim that the AIs will react in an emotional way. Like when they see their friend get shot down, they'll start to panic. So maybe that will add another layer, another realistic layer to this story. So I'm very excited about that. Number 2 on my list, my second to last most anticipated game. Well, it is almost number 1, but number 1 is very special to me. But number 2 on my list is Beyond Two Souls. It's by Quantic Dream, the creators of Heavy Rain and Indigo Prophecy, or Fahrenheit, depending on what country you're from. But I am a crazy fan of anything that Quantic Dream has created. I love their story-based gameplay. It is just a refreshingly different way to approach a game. It's very different, and it's very story-based, story-driven, and this game will have a similar interactive cutscene type gameplay as Heavy Rain, but it tells the story of Jodie Holmes, who has this spirit that she interacts called Aiden, and you can also play as Aiden and interact with the environment. You can possess people, you can move objects, and this is all to save Jodie and to protect her, who is for some reason at odds with the government, who the FBI are after her, the police are after her. I'm not quite sure why that is, but it will tell her story over a 15-year period and show her life and hopefully explain what this spirit has to do with her life. There's definitely that emphasis on story that Quantic Dream is known for, but I believe the introduction of Aiden will add a new depth to it. I'm also really excited about the soundtrack because from what I heard of the trailer, it had a lot of I think it was basically just percussion, but it was very it definitely got my adrenaline going, so I'm very excited about that as well. And the lead role was specifically written for Ellen Page, and I think that she did a great job at it from what I've seen. I think she'll do fantastic, so I'm very excited about that. So my most anticipated game for next year, my number 1 is Bioshock Infinite. I am so excited about this game. I'm so excited about a new Bioshock game. I am a huge Bioshock fan. If you haven't seen the poster over there, I just been waiting for this game and I'm so pumped. It takes place, we have left Rapture and are now exploring the world of Columbia, and it is Rapture's sister city, really. It has that same propaganda feel, that same crazy feel that Rapture had, but it is more bright, which adds to the eeriness of it. Oddly enough, it is just as creepy, but in a brighter and more colorful environment. Columbia is a American propaganda city that it tours around the world showing the world of America's propaganda, their symbolism, their ideals, and it is a city that goes astray, as the trailer suggests. The ideals that once ran the city have now corrupted it, and it is now falling apart. It just looks, the city of Columbia looks very awesome, and it kind of has that steampunk thing going on, and they really played with this aspect of being in the sky. Not only is the city hovering over the sky, but there's these trams that cover the whole city, and you have the ability to jump on them and use them to travel throughout the city. And it is incredible because it, just from the gameplay, it looks like and feels as though being on a roller coaster. It adds a new layer to the gameplay, because you not only have to consider everything around you, you have to consider what is hovering above your head and whether or not you should use these trams to get from place to place. Excuse me. You play as Booker DeWitt. He is supposed to rescue this girl Elizabeth, who has these special abilities to open portals. She can use them to drop heavy objects on your enemies. She can use them to open turrets for you, and so that will be very useful in combat. But it also seems as though Booker and Elizabeth have a lot of chemistry, and they have a story going on there, and there will be some development there as you figure out this mysterious ability that Elizabeth has and this world that she is connected to. Yeah, the gameplay just looks really exciting. They have added a lot more enemies, including a machine gun automated George Washington, which is really humorous, and something that closely resembles a Big Daddy in the way that it reacts to you, as so that you can approach it and choose whether or not you want to be in combat with it or walk away. So that should be intriguing. The one thing I disliked about Bioshock is that a lot of the enemies just feel the same. Even though they were technically different, there wasn't that much diversity there. And in the second game, I really disliked that our objective basically became the objective that I hated in the first game, which was babysitting the little sisters. I love the little sisters, but having to babysit them as being the gameplay was really frustrating at times. And who really wants to babysit while you're shooting down enemies? So Elizabeth is not someone that you have to babysit. She is someone that will actually help you in combat. And her abilities will help in combat, though you can choose what you want her to do, whether is it dropping things on enemies or teleporting you, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Also opening up turrets, so that is really exciting. And there's different enemies, and you have the trams. I'm most excited about those trams, or whatever they're called, that are circling the city, because like I said, it just adds a new layer to the combat and adds a new perspective, a new paradigm to the way that you view. And I'm just excited that they have really played with perspectives, have really played with this aspect of being in the sky, and the story looks really great. It seems as though, even though we're in a different location, even though we're playing as a different character, they still have really stayed true to the Bioshock the Bioshock feel and the Bioshock nature. So I'm really, really excited about this game, and I am totally pre-ordering it. And if there's a collector's edition, I'm going to get it. I don't really buy collector's edition very often, but I will totally just get it just because shut up and take my money, really. But those are my most anticipated games for next year. If I haven't mentioned some other games that you are really excited about, it's probably because I'm not up to par. Like, I'm not up to the most recent game, such as Resident Evil. I'm not up to the most recent game, and Assassin's Creed and Dead Space. I'm not, I haven't really played up to the most recent game, so that's why I'm not, like, and I would like to keep it that way because then the prices are better for me if I wait till they're out for a while. And Assassin's Creed, it's really hard to keep up with that. I don't know what else I forgot to mention. Oh yes, and the Elder Scrolls MMO, I may just make a whole video to talk about that because that is a whole story in itself about what I think about the Elder Scrolls MMO. But those are my most anticipated games for next year, and I hope you enjoyed that. Share some of your most anticipated games, and if you want to see more reviews from me, subscribe. Remember to like and comment. Thank you. I should go.